After months of data collecting, crunching numbers, and report writing, our first annual Salesforce Ben Salary Survey is finally here. Although this isn't the first salary survey to hit the ecosystem, we believe it to be the biggest and the most detailed, with over 3,500 respondents submitting answers. Although we recommend everyone to peek at the official report, this post will go into a few highlights and trends that the survey has revealed. Let's take a look. The current job market. The Salesforce job market has been the talk of the town for the past year. After becoming one of the most lucrative job opportunities in the tech industry, the Salesforce job market quickly became saturated, and it was much harder to land an entry-level role. In the survey, we asked respondents when they joined the ecosystem, which created a fascinating graph plotting the explosion and subsequent decline of new entrants entering the ecosystem. Salesforce launched Trailhead and the Trailblazer movement in 2014, which clearly had a huge impact on the job market by democratizing Salesforce skills on their free learning platform. However, the past couple of years paint a different picture. With ecosystem growth slowing and layoffs becoming commonplace, the number of new entrants entering the ecosystem is a fraction of previous years, at levels not seen since 2005 or 2006. Whilst it's clearly been tough for new entrants entering the ecosystem, it's not ideal for experienced Salesforce professionals either, with job searches taking much longer than in previous years. Although we have no data to compare this to, I'm sure every professional can relate to the days where they could land another job or contract pretty instantly. Nowadays, it takes a quarter of professionals around 3 to 6 months to land their next role, with some taking longer and others much shorter, within 1 to 2 weeks, for example. Ultimately, this is going to depend on your niche specialities and the supply and demand. Salesforce is still very lucrative. Although there is lots of gloom and doom talk for those who have worked in the Salesforce ecosystem for a few years, it's still a very lucrative career. But we already knew this, right? Salaries remain very high compared to average salary figures, even within the technology industry. And there is a clear scope for salary growth. Entry-level salaries start fairly low, depending on your country, when you first start in that role, but then can increase rapidly. There is also very obvious salary growth within each role. So as you become more senior with an increasing number of years experience, your salary should naturally increase within this same role. Bonuses are another important area that are fairly common within the Salesforce ecosystem, with 57% of respondents stating they receive some kind of additional compensation, such as an annual or performance-based bonus. More certifications equals higher salary. There's been a lot of chatter around Salesforce certifications recently and whether they are worth investing your time in simply collecting certs so they look good on your CV. The general consensus is no. Collecting certifications for the sake of it is not worth your while, and you need to be able to back up your certifications with experience for them to be useful. But in an insight that may perhaps shine a different light on certifications, our survey has concluded that if you have more certifications, your salary is most likely going to be higher. However, before you start jumping on the certification bandwagon, there are lots of hidden factors at play here. For a start, your salary is likely to rise over time, and the longer you have been in Salesforce, the more likely you are to have gained additional certifications. In addition, for those who are at junior or intermediate level, say under 5 years, the data shows that additional certifications do not actually affect your salary that much. But for senior level professionals, additional certifications can mean a higher salary. In particular, the ceiling for salary seems to increase when experienced professionals achieve over 7 certifications. Many factors play into this, such as budding CTAs following the architect certification path who are likely to have higher salaries, or those at Salesforce or consulting partners who are financially incentivized to take more certifications. The type of company you work for matters. Of course, money isn't everything, but it is the focus of our salary survey. With this in mind, your salary can drastically differ depending on the type of company you work for. Whether it's an end user versus consulting company, a large corporate versus small business, or manufacturing versus financial services, the type of company matters. The salary survey dives deep into these factors and how salary can change based on these data points, as well as many more. We've even provided a breakdown for some of the countries we had sufficient data for. Putting salary aside for a minute, different companies could also have very different working environments, varying approaches to the work-life balance, as well as the pressure that is put on you to perform. Salaries are trending down. An unfortunate trend of layoffs and the saturation of the Salesforce job market is that companies can afford to offer a lower salary than in previous years. With more supply and less demand, this is a natural side effect. Out of 24 of the top roles that we recorded data for, 16 out of 24 have decreased in salary when comparing the salary of those who have landed a job in the past 18 months to those that have landed a job in previous years. When taking inflation into account, this isn't ideal. However, for the core roles in the Salesforce ecosystem, the declines are in the single digits. On a global average basis, business analyst salaries have declined 5% in the past 18 months, developers and admins 4%, and solution engineers 3%. On the more positive side of things, some roles such as Pardot admins, CPQ consultants, and DevOps engineers have risen, perhaps adding to the argument that specializations are the future. Check out the salary survey today.